what's up, everyone? This is Race to the Finish, and this is Carlos, and I brought in an old friend of mine. I met him way back when I was like eighth grade, and his name is Malcolm, and so he's doing some pretty special things. As an entrepreneur, up and coming, in the fashion game. So before I say too much, Malcolm, do you want to actually introduce yourself?
Yes, I do. Yeah, my name is Malcolm Howard, aka Malcolm Dakar, and yeah, I'm a small business owner, fashion designer, and yeah, I love to create.
So, like, I guess we'll jump right in. I mean, because you and I were kind of talking before the episode, kind of catching up and stuff like that. So you're doing
hmm
all right.
hmm
You're kind of transitioning from one phase to another. But like, I want to know about what you're creating. So tell me a little bit about like what you're doing.
Well, essentially, I am dabbling in fashion design. Making clothes, and I really, actually, I would say clothing and accessories, just a variety of different things. I really don't try to put myself in a box when I create, especially since I just started off, pretty much a few years ago. I've really just dived into like, yeah, just like garment making,
Uh huh.
and everything that comes along with it. So yeah, it's I make colorful, fun, sometimes simple, sometimes a little, intricate, pieces, and it's always, I think, something slightly different to it, whether
Yeah.
it's just the thread that I use, or I change up the button colors, or something is always slightly unique about it, which I like.
That's what's up. And so like, I'm just having flashbacks way back to like when we were kids. I
Yeah.
never thought that like you would get yourself into
Oh.
this. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
no.
how did that come about?
It's funny because I was looking at pictures when I was a kid, and just like randomly, like my hairline was like just atrocious, like it was just tore up, and I was just thinking like, how did I get from a destroyed hairline to wanting to be a fashion designer, and saying like, I'm fashionable and everything like that. Yeah, so essentially I've always been a creative kid, and I think that's kind of what it stems from. And I was in a weird spot in my life where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Um, I didn't. I was trying to figure out what would make me wake up every day, happy doing what I did. And it wasn't physical therapy anymore, which at some time it was that. Um, and I pretty much thought, okay, what would the child form of me like? And it was like, I just love creating. And I figured I wouldn't be playing with like Legos and Play-Doh this time.
Right.
So how it happened was, I think I got tried to get into modeling because I thought modeling would be my uh, ticket into the door to um, art, just art in general, just
Yeah.
being around different artists and everything. And yeah, that essentially didn't work out how I thought. And then I stumbled onto graphic design, and then
Uh-huh.
from there, I hated all my graphic designs. So I said, okay, what else can I do? And then I stumbled onto making my own pieces from scratch,
Right.
which at the time was just way easier to like wrap my head around and do, as opposed to drawing and doing that sort of thing. It was just, at that time, it was just really hard for me to like focus on that.
Right. And so it sounds like you had like a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds that way, but yeah, no, it's just things that like kind of, it was yeah, it was like, okay, this didn't work, so okay, let me see if like this will work. So it
Right.
wasn't necessarily like I knew those were plans. It was just like, okay, I don't want to give up. Let me figure out. Let me see if there's something else I can do to get myself where I want to get to, which was essentially just being in the artistic community. And yeah, just like meeting dope people, and making dope work, and
Yeah.
living a very artistic life, which I'm definitely on that road
For
for
sure.
sure.
And you pointed out like a lot of important things too, like so with myself, like with the show, right, and like how you're doing with your business and stuff, like it all starts
Mm,
with meeting people, right? That but
yeah.
people that I guess appreciate your work, and I feel like
Hmm.
that is something that puts somebody over the top. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So what I
Yeah.
notice is like a lot. We're from the same area, right?
Yeah.
And what I see is there's a lot of artists, but I feel like a
Hmm.
lot of artists kind of give up on their craft because they
Hmm.
feel like, oh well, I'm never gonna get there. Like what
Yeah.
keeps you going?
Man, it's weird. I just feel like I know I can do what I do, and I know what I do is like unique and original, and it's quality, and it's only gonna get better. You know what I mean? This is just the beginning, and it's just I know. It's just
Mhm.
I
Like an
don't know, a
instinct,
feeling. Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's that because yeah, I've just always felt in my life like if I wanted to do something and I put my mind to it, and I've proven to myself, multiple instances where, if I actually focus on what it is I want to do, put good energy out there, put that energy out there that you want to do this, it'll happen. And yeah, it was just like again, I was at that time where it was like um, I was really in a weird headspace, and it was like, either figure out what you want to do, or or
or
or
conform.
yeah, and to sort of put it morbidly, like end it, like you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
sort of just like for me, that's like ending my life, like sort of. And no offense to anybody who lives that sort of lifestyle, but I just understood that that lifestyle wasn't for me.
for
um
sure.
and so yeah, I was like, yeah, I need to do this, and I need to do it now, and I need to do it, full throttle.
Hmm.
Which yeah, I definitely jumped like straight into it. But yeah, going back to yeah, what keeps me going. Yeah, I just don't. There's a certain lifestyle that I don't want to live, and I'm really not trying to stop until I get there. And that's really like the end goal of it. It's just like, yeah. Why stop now? Like I'd rather work super hard now and then enjoy the fruits of my labor later, instead of slacking or taking time off. Which I know some may say like, yeah, you should definitely take time off. I know a lot may say you should probably take time off, but yeah,
Yeah.
I sort of, I work how I work. I'm imperfect, but yeah, I'm really just trying to keep going until I reach where I want to reach.
So where is that?
Oh, great question. Um, I just financially, well, a little financially stable. I've
A
never kind
little.
of been that. Yeah, and as an artist, like, I
Yeah.
think that's like extremely hard. So like, yeah, just like having a little money, having having a good networking system. I think that's important. Um, and I mean, yeah, as far as where that is, it's just like having
Right.
like a little money in the bank, just having like a plan, having a good foundation, which I think I'm like building now.
Hmm.
And building, just building a good business.
Like a good
Which
foundation and for it to
yeah,
take off.
yeah, which is hard. Especially when you don't really kind of know how you want your like business plan to go. Especially when you don't understand or know all the aspects of like business and everything, and like
Right.
you just don't do things how you should. So yeah, it's definitely like doing things the right way in the future, and like yeah, just
So
having some money.
So a question I want to ask too is like, you brought up a lot of points where it's like, well, not really knowing too much about business and stuff. And,
Mm,
there's a lot of people that our age, right, that just graduated from college and they're going for
mm-hmm,
business and stuff like that. And they know all these business skills, but then they end up being employees. You see what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? A lot of
mm-hmm,
entrepreneurs are actually say like, oh, well, you don't need to actually go to college to become an entrepreneur to start a
mm-hmm.
business. And so while there is truth in that, what are some obstacles that you see like preventing you from actually getting to where you need to be? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, as far as starting a business, you need well. it would be way, way better if you had a good team, like a solid
Yeah.
team, like a team that, all you guys are on the same page. One person can do this, so on and so forth. Because, for my own business purposes, like I need to create the piece. I need to take pictures of the piece. I need to model the piece. I need to then network. I need to post on social media, and I need to do this, that, and the fourth. To have a business, to keep your business running.
Hmm.
And so I think for me personally, like that's one of the things, because yeah, I can't necessarily do everything. Well, obviously I can't do everything myself, but it just takes time for me to do all
Yeah, I
those things.
imagine the
So
burnout must be crazy.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely like, especially when you're not, making money off of it. So you're just stressed about, trying to live off of your craft, which I was trying to do for like a hot second.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, yeah, the burnout is definitely real, and you will experience it. And if you truly don't love what you do, you might, yeah, give up, because yeah, this isn't fun. Like this period isn't fun. But um, yeah, understanding that, yeah, I don't have a team, and yeah, I have to, do this and that, kind of keeps me in the head, in the mindset of like, I can kind of slow down, and it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I am just a one man show. So yeah, I should give myself time to like slow down, relax, and pick it back up. But yeah, no,
for
not
sure.
having a team, I would say, like, just off the bat is like crucial, really
Right.
crucial.
And I think like I think the older generations, I'm speaking from my experience, like
Mm,
I feel like the older generations kind of look at things over objectively, meaning that I feel like they know, I feel like they think they know more than what they actually know when it comes to what we're doing with our own lives.
wait,
And so when it
yeah,
comes
yeah,
like when it
yeah,
comes down to like making this podcast, or like if I'm going out to a conference or something, I'm always hearing it from somebody. Like,
mm,
oh well, is this a waste of your time? Like, oh, shouldn't you be working? It's like, well, to me, it's not. I'm building my network.
yes,
I'm working on my project. Like these are all things that are very important, right? And I feel like that shuts a lot of people down.
yeah. And can I just ask, are we allowed to like to use curse words on here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, older people do not know shit, in my opinion. In my opinion, like when they're talking about us and what we're going, it's just, I don't think they understand the shift in society. And I think as far as like, because I hear that all the time, because I was in, when I was in the workforce, heavily, I'd work with older people, and they didn't understand, like, making videos and doing that
Right.
sort of thing. And I'm like, well, yeah, these kids are, making millions off of this stuff, and it's like, we're just, and I hear people say like, yeah, like, why don't my son doesn't want to get a job, or he's lazy or something. It's like, hey, maybe he just doesn't want to work in a factory his whole life, like maybe he wants more of a purpose, which I think everyone wants a purpose.
Right.
And yeah, I just think like that's what our generation wants, especially because of social
Yes, I'm so
media.
glad you said that.
Um,
Yes, I was gonna say like a
because
generation wants purpose.
yeah, exactly. Like, because we see on social media, people living these cool lives and stuff, and like,
Right.
everyone wants to live that, and nobody just wants to kind of live a mundane sort of life. And but no offense to those people who do, but I think a lot of kids are from our generation, we just want something more, and we don't know how to get that, because we can't look to our parents because they weren't doing it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think it's that weird gap of like, our parents not really, again, knowing shit about how to move, in this world that we live in now, versus their world, where it was just, get a
Right.
job, which, no offense to them, we could have gotten a job back then, like a good job, you know what I mean, like a good
Right.
job with benefits that would actually, pay for, the cost of living and stuff, as opposed to now, like what, like, making $10 an hour and you need a bachelor. You know what I mean? Like
For
it's
sure.
like that's not the move, So
Right.
yeah, we're trying to figure out other ways of doing it. Like, I'm trying to figure out other ways of doing it aside from, just going to college and going that route. Because there's other routes, and like, sometimes those routes are better, So
For sure.
on the side of like, older people, like, it's like, I I've always taken what people tell me, like what anyone tells me, like, I definitely I take it with a grain of salt, but then I definitely like and like, okay, I'm gonna listen to what this person, consider what this person is saying because of who they are, or how I respect
Mhm.
them or something. But yeah, it's just always been like, you don't I don't think you fully understand like how this world is shifting, So it's like, I can't really like listen or care about your opinion on certain things because
Right. Because then it
you
just
just have
slows
no
you
idea.
down.
Yeah. And it's like, I personally know, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Exactly.
and yeah, it's gotten me this far, like with that mindset. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
and it's
keep
not a
that.
bad mindset to have. It's just the thing is like, listen, like I know I agree with you. I think our generation, has this tendency to want to dream and to create and all this different types of stuff, right? But there's also a
Hmm.
lot of folks in our generation who are just cool with making a check and doing whatever
Hmm.
to get it. Like I remember when I
Yeah.
first got to college, like first got to JCU and it was during my orientation. I got paired up with a bunch of other kids, and they were asking us, so like, what do you want your major to be? And I'm like, I don't know, like
Like money
something cool.
making.
Like, well, like
Yeah.
the other person was like, "Well, I want to go into accounting." And I looked over
Hmm.
at the kid, and I remember I was reading something about majors, and it's like, "Well, accounting is like one of the most depressing majors, or one of the
Hmm.
most depressing careers to actually be an accountant." Right? No offense to
Hmm.
any accountants. I'm just
Yeah.
repeating. I'm just
Yeah.
repeating what I read. And so when I was 18 and I was ready to go to college, that was all in my head. I looked at this kid and I said, Isn't that like a really depressing thing to get yourself involved with?" And he's like, "I don't care. I just want to make money. I want to make all this money." And so pretty much, and I was like, "Oh, well, okay, now I see, some other mindsets that are around me."
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm trying to find the happy medium, and I'll ask you this. Like, I'm trying
Mm.
to find the happy medium between, like, I don't want to believe that people are naturally wired to create, right? There people have a
Mm.
vision, right? And then certain people are naturally wired to actually accomplish that vision. That to me is
Mm.
selfish. Like, I don't
Yeah.
believe in the thing
Yeah.
is, a lot of people do. I work with coworkers that are like, well, there's two kinds of people. There's the go-getters and then there's the
Eh,
lazy one. And I'm like, what?
ditch diggers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some,
And I'm
yeah.
like, and I'm like, well, okay, so what's the other side? Like, what I've come to a conclusion is like, well, there are people who have all of these different types of dreams and visions, and they're all over the place. They just don't know what to do with it. But that
Mm.
to me is beautiful. Like, I'm like,
Hmm.
because that was me. That literally
Yeah.
was me when I was 18. Like I didn't know what the hell I was gonna do. I mean, right now
Yeah.
I run a podcast, I run a stream, I'm starting a YouTube channel, like all these different types of things.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I don't even know which one's gonna work out. But the point is why do I feel empowered to actually chase these dreams while somebody else doesn't? You see what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
what do you feel is that what is that answer to that,
I yeah, and that's a very complex question, and I think
Sorry.
no, you're good. That's a great question because I think, and I think it's great for me as a person of color to speak on this, as African American to speak on this, because I see that in my own community of, people who maybe have dreams and, don't chase them for one reason or the next, and I think it just stems from from shit a lot. It stems from, from a lot of people of color not having having that mindset, from, not having the resources, just from generationally being held back, sort of thing.
For sure.
You know, from the African American standpoint, like, I think my community is still very much searching for like who we are.
Mm,
It's and yeah, as I try to grow my business, or just I'm just always an observer. I'm a I am an observer of life, and I just observe I think I've observed my community a bit more as I don't know, maybe tried to like integrate more into the community and everything. But yeah, it's just like we truly like don't know who we are, and we're still searching for that. And like in that, I think in searching for yourself, I think you need to figure out who you are
Mm,
before before a lot of things, because I had to figure out that I was truly an artist in order to do this. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
and I think that that's one of the reasons why I didn't give up is because like I know I'm an artist. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
wholeheartedly, this is me. And so I think you need to. I think a lot of people don't know who they are because society, we don't say, hey, you should, figure out who you are. Actually, take a conscious look at, at who you are, and try to
for
figure
sure.
that out. Whatever, however that is. I don't even know how you figure that out, but like, maybe just going back on your childhood, going back on things you like, just going, and just figuring that out. But yeah, it's like I think a lot of people don't know who they are, and so with that, you can't figure out what you want to do. You know what I mean? How do I know
Mm,
I'm a journalist if I don't do X, Y, Z? You know what I mean? So
right.
I
We're not
think
conditioned to try things.
no, 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 no. And again, I just say again, like from a person of color standpoint, like we yeah, like we're just like conditioned to just like work and then consume and then like buy stuff and then die. It seems
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
truly, that's what
literally,
it truly seems like. And that's
for
what,
sure,
like, that's how I look at life, because it's like everything is an ad, everything is, hey, buy this, buy that. None of it, like, I never hear anything that's just like, hey, drink water, hey, make sure you focus on, like, your mental health today. Like, it's just like, hey, take this pill, hey, drink this energy drink that's gonna kill you, you know what I mean? And
for
it's
sure.
like it's like and yeah, it makes me want to go crazy sometimes because, this is like the world we live in. Like, this is the society we live in. And it just sucks because we just treat like actual people like, you know, like trash. Like, they're just a dollar sign. And, so with that, comes a whole society that just isn't built on people, um, you know, trying to do what they want to do actually in life. It just comes from, hey, you need to work and you need to pay for this and you need to make money and you need to buy this stuff and you need to have all these materials, and then yeah, you die and then you pass it on to your child. And so yeah, that really sucks. That
So,
really really sucks.
how are you kind of using your business and your ideas and your philosophies to kind of address those issues that you see in your community? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think doing this, having this talk, is definitely like one of the first starts, because hopefully somebody will hear this and hear what I'm saying, and just be like, hey, he's right, and to start thinking maybe something in their head will go off or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I'm moving forward. Yeah, I'm definitely trying. I have a goal of like using my business, and hopefully I gain some, I don't want to necessarily say like fame, but like, just gain that
Like a platform.
attention. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And obviously, gain, I guess, a little wealth just so people don't, just think I'm the crazy guy standing on top of like the box or whatever. And yeah, just using that to, say, hey, I'm Malcolm Dakar, so on and so forth. This is what I'm thinking. This is how I think we should be moving. Hey, like, black people, stop buying these brands that are calling us the N word and putting monkeys on their shirts. I'm sorry, I just had to go on that small little rant because I just think we look like idiots when we do that. And yeah, I'm going to use my platform to just speak on all those things because again, we need to move better as people of color because we live in like very treacherous times of like just pure ignorance and stupidity. And yeah, it's going to take a lot to like combat all that stuff, all
So
that.
we're talking a lot about like of different things that exist within your reality. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And a lot of these things can put somebody down, somebody that has all these
Mm.
dreams, right? And if they recognize it, it's kind of like when a philosopher realizes like, oh, they break out of like the frame of thought when they grow up, and then they get all
Mhm.
depressed because it's like, wait, maybe everything is a lie. Wait,
Mhm.
what is going on? And they drive themselves crazy. I'm saying this because I'm not saying
Mhm.
I'm a philosopher. By all means, I'm not.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but I love philosophy. Like I actually went through this. You
Mhm.
know, where I was reading up on different philosophies and I questioned myself. I
Mhm.
questioned, what I believed and everything. And I literally had like anxiety attacks over this. Like it's
Yeah.
just crazy. Right.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that is to me, I feel is minimal to say like the black child who has
Mm.
all these dreams, but then, has certain conditions that they were raised in that
Mm.
is consistently holding them back. So whenever I
Yeah.
hear somebody say like, "Oh, well, maybe they should pull themselves up by their bootstraps and maybe they should go for it." Well, it's not that easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one thing
Yeah.
to have hope, but like, how do you really empower somebody?
Yeah. And again, man, that just man, like that just stems from like that all that stuff seemingly was just geared towards your average like white American. None of that stuff applies to a person of color because
Hmm.
um, especially I'll say as again, an African American because we couldn't get loans to start a business or to get a house and things of that nature back in the day. So it was like it's like I see a lot of generational wealth is my point, and
Yeah.
like that is so heavy. It's so heavily divided amongst like blacks and whites because yeah, like we went to St. Peter's and we
Oh my God.
we saw that we saw that
Yes.
we saw
No.
that was my
Let me.
first side. You know what I mean? I came from people people looking like me growing up in the project sort of, and then I go and I see, people with these, big houses, you know what I mean? And like it's
Yeah.
like, wow, I'm really now seeing the other side of it. And not to say, I definitely didn't grow up, in the poorhouse, which you know what I mean, but it's like, I saw the other side, you know what I mean? Like okay, you guys live like this sort of way, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, like all of that stuff really never applied to me. Um and so yeah, just going back to your like question of like, wasn't it like how do you like empower yourself or like
Yeah. Like
how do
empower
you
yourself
yeah.
or empower somebody. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's like I mean I empower myself just by I guess yeah, maybe seeing that side and like knowing even maybe even before saw that side, like knowing I can achieve whatever it is I want to achieve. That's kind of always how I think I was as a kid. Like it's just yeah, if I want to do that, I'll do it. Like because somebody else before me did it, so why can't I?
hmm
But yeah, yeah. It's hard though to like empower yourself when like you live in a community that isn't empowering. And the people that look like you that are around you aren't empowering or don't know how to empower themselves. It's like
right.
you just live in a very like depleted area. um but yeah, I don't know, I maybe I'm just like supposed to be one of the ones that tries to help, you know what I
Right.
mean? I don't know if that's my role. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to be any sort of hero or anything, but yeah, I just feel like again, I know who I am. I am a I know the world around me and I see it for what it is, and I know that as a black man I need to just help my people, like literally like any way I can. And like yeah,
Mhm.
this is going to be my way, I think.
That's awesome. That seriously is
So
cool.
yeah.
And that's inspiring to me because I believe that people shouldn't just be taking on work just to just do it for personal
Mhm.
gain. I feel like
Mm.
we are all obligated to help out one another. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're
Mm.
human beings, right? And
Yeah.
that's my problem. And I won't speak too much about it because you already laid it out perfectly.
Yeah.
The fact that we exploit each other so much is like
Mhm.
extremely disappointing. And I
Yeah.
thought, and I want to react to a few things that you said, about generational wealth. The way that you described it made me think of it in a different way. It's
Mm.
not just white people who have been handed down money throughout generations. It's also the structure. You mentioned
Yeah.
that
Yes.
black folks couldn't even get loans to buy a house or
Hmm.
any heavy expenses or anything in like back in the day. Well, that just goes to show that the generations that already have that knowledge, it has
Hmm.
been passed down to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Especially more
Exactly.
so, like more so within the white community rather than the black community. And
Yes.
so I feel like a lot of people miss that. Like I even miss it sometimes. Like when people
Yeah.
say generational wealth, I'm like, oh well, white people have more money than black people or Latinx people. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
that simple. It's more
Yeah.
so about
Yes.
the custom and the structure. And that is like, it reminds me of all of that.
Yeah, and I'm totally glad you spoke on that because yeah, I totally miss yeah that is that yeah plays a bigger part or actually it plays like the same part as yeah because I yeah like we're first generation business owners, a lot of us, and I think it's funny because as I try to start my own business, I have seen the way black people treat black business owners, how they treat their business, and it's kind of like they give them a harder time than other businesses that have been established and have yeah like you said those like generational like constructs that
Hmm.
we don't have and so it's like yeah we're gonna mess up you know a lot of times because this is our first time doing this and we don't have the blueprints that other people have had in our lifetime. So it's like yeah, I'm totally glad you spoke on that because yeah, that carries right over with, the wealth. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like that business carries over with the wealth. Like and yeah, there's so many people who just have, those things established because they've just come from families that, have been able to start their own businesses.
For sure.
And yeah, we just haven't and that sucks. And so yeah, we have to pretty much start from scratch, like really, really from scratch. And yeah, like starting a business is hard because there's so many different things that you have to put together to make a long lasting business if that's what you want. So yeah, I'm
Right. It needs
definitely
to be
yeah
sustainable.
yeah exactly and like yeah, man, that like that if you have like generation of people who have, handed things down, from just straight business tools, tips, from business to, money from that
Right.
business, it's just like that helps, and that yeah, that plays a huge part in yeah, just business
I think
in
we
general.
forget like how many people live in this country. Like that is
Mhm.
literally like a stupid amount of people.
Mhm.
And a big, like, we're going to use percentages of these people, right? And we're going to divide them up into demographics, right? Or in
Mhm.
terms of ethnicity and race. So you have the white race, the black race, and we'll just use those two just for example, okay?
Mhm.
So obviously there are way more white people in this country than there are black people.
Mhm.
So statistically speaking, a larger percentage of white folks come from money, meaning that
Mhm.
they have wealth. It's
Mhm.
there. I'm not saying that they're at the top. I'm not saying they're taking baths with Bill Gates in a
Yeah.
pool full of $100 bills. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. I'm saying that a lot of them are pretty well off. Now, of course, there are white
Mhm.
people in poverty. The
Yeah.
reason I'm bringing this up is not to defend those people. My reason
No,
to bring
no.
this up is because there are folks out there who like to make a point where it is like, well, there's more white persons,
Mm.
in
Yeah.
poverty than there are black people in poverty. It was like, whoa, it's
Yeah.
slow down. Okay,
Yeah.
you're ignoring the percentages. And so
Yeah.
if you take the black population, there are less people in proportion to white people who are well off than there are, people who are in poverty. It is
Yeah.
not even a comparison. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
so it's almost unfair to do that. That's the reason I bring that up. And I want people to be conscious of that because,
Mhm.
you have people who are hustling like you who want to improve their community. But these are all hurdles that I feel people don't even really speak up about. I'm not saying
Yeah,
you, I'm saying people like myself,
yeah,
who want to be an ally, but we just ignore that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, dude. Like trying to get over that hurdle of poverty is like, like really, really hard. Like trying, like, yeah, it's just like really, really hard. Like, cause I personally have never really had like, a large amount of cash. You know what I mean? I've never had a bunch of money in my bank account. I've always felt like, why do I need to save this? Because I can just go out and make more. It has like always been like a terrible mindset for me. But um, yeah, it's like getting over that hurdle of like just being of not having money and like, again, like your family maybe, not having the money to support your, give into your dream like that, a lot of other people have is like really, really hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, people should focus on that because like I mean, I can speak as a black man, like our community is in shambles. We don't have any sort of wealth. I don't believe. And I mean, I don't want to speak for, my entire race, but it just kind of seems like once a black person makes money, they kind of just, they leave.
Mm.
They don't come back really and try to bring that wealth back. And I mean, and we do. I think people have tried. Not to say people haven't tried, but um, I don't know. We need to try harder, and there needs to be more of us doing it because you just laid down the stats, and like there's a lot less of us. And I've been thinking as far as like us, having an identity and everything, and how we don't claim like Africa as like when things happen to us, Africa isn't like, hey, stop doing things to African Americans. You know what I mean? We
Mm.
don't have that connection anymore. So as far as like, who's looking out for us,
Right.
it's definitely not, our government is, it's definitely, so it's like who is looking out for us? And it's really just sometimes poorly, but it's just us, you know what I mean, like, and like yeah, we need to do a better job of looking out for each other because we only have us because because of history and how things have been played out, we it's like it kind of for sometimes it seems like yeah, we're just kind of on this island, like African Americans are like on this island, like yeah, we need to like do better because yeah, like we're struggling, man. Like especially, and I'll stop my rambling in a second. Like especially
You're
since
good.
like we're, I believe we're the creators of so much, and
Oh,
we
for sure.
don't ever get a
The
paycheck
credit and
for it.
recognition.
Yeah, and we don't get anything. Which it's just, man, it makes me so upset because we have people coming up with like on fleek, which a word that wasn't
Mm.
even thought of, and then you have these corporations, on fleek that, and
Put
they
it on
didn't
the
give,
shirts.
yeah, and they didn't give that young black woman, a lick of anything. And yeah, we're just like the creators of so much, and like we don't get anything. And then at that, we still get shit on, and we get shot in the streets, and we just get this like, I don't know, like third, fourth class citizen type of treatment. And it's like, well, wait a second, without us, like, you know, people would still be bopping, or you know what I mean? It would be like, wouldn't be any sort of cultural move, like shift if it wasn't for people of color. So that really pisses me off. And so I think, yeah, being upset is one of the factors that like just going back to like what keeps me motivated or anything, like yeah, I get angry a lot, and that's like a driving factor in like what I do because yeah, if I can help it, like we're gonna at least get like a lick of like recognition of like how creative we are, and like we're gonna get at least a small amount of like generational wealth from
Yeah.
my end.
And I'll tell you, I kind of tell you like what I see, from my perspective. So, like I'm Latino, right? My
Mhm.
parents are from El Salvador. I was born here, so like I had to
Mhm.
kind of learn what that upbringing was like through them, which is easy because I mean they're Salvadoran. But
Mhm.
I only really identified with their experience.
Mhm.
So I grew up with this mentality of saying it like, oh, I'm not white.
Yeah.
I'm Hispanic. Like, I was
Yeah.
that kid, right? And there's still plenty of adults who think this way. And
Mhm.
so part of this whole thing, eventually like when I started, actually opening up some books about the topic
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
actually talking with people and aligning and actually being checked for some of the
Mm.
stupid shit that I've done
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
said. And what was I gonna say? So being Latino is
Mhm.
it's honestly like, yeah, it's different, it's special. We like to be
Mhm.
proud of our culture in a country where there's a bunch of different cultures. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it's almost like saying, "Oh, I'm American." Like,
Yeah.
okay, so what does American look like?
Yeah.
I feel like people
Yeah.
around the world, if you ask them what does an American look like in their heads,
Mm.
I feel if there's listeners out there who's taking offense to this,
Mm.
you can't really take offense to how I feel about something in regards to
Absolutely.
this. So what I'm
Absolutely.
saying is, I feel like a lot of people, say if we pull somebody from Europe and you ask them,
Mm.
what does an American look like? They're going to think of a white male.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Probably with a Midwestern accent, you know?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so they're going to think of that in their heads. The problem is that that's not what an American looks like. An American looks like all of us. It looks like you
Yeah.
and me. It looks like everyone that's outside. Everyone
Mhm.
that's at the mall or at the park or at the beach. You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly.
people. Who are within. On this land. I don't want to say within
Yeah.
these borders because America is like everywhere. But
Yeah.
that's a different story.
Exactly.
What I'm
Exactly.
saying is with being Latino is there are a lot of people in my community that completely ignore the existence of Afro Latinos or Afro
Mhm.
Latinx, if we want to call it that,
Mhm.
right? And so there are people in El Salvador who are black and they go by
Mhm.
Afro Salvadorans, right?
Mhm.
And so the thing is that people don't like to acknowledge that because we like to associate our ethnicity with our race. So my
Yeah.
point in this whole rambling is
Mhm.
is the fact that I feel that people who are quote allies and want to help you out with what you're doing don't
Mm.
necessarily have the education or even really put in the work to kind of unlearn what they already know and to recognize their privilege. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do. And yeah, I think you're right. I mean, but I would say it's hard, like, cause I would, I kind of just look and think like, okay, if I was your average white American, why would I ever, consciously think about something I wouldn't need to like think about? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why would I think about what it means to be, like, truly be, a black person when I don't need to be black? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't need to take on any of those things. So yeah, like, cause they
Like,
can,
why bother? There's
yeah,
money to be made.
they can live life like without, having to think about any of those things,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like anything bad will happen to them. It's not, yeah, it's just like, yeah, they can go their whole life living ignorantly, like saying like, oh yeah, he should have just had his hands up, stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, they can just do that because this is their world. We still live in their society, and like, yeah, they can just live life how they want because they control they control it.
So I kind of want to transition to this question because, like I was saying before, we were talking about a lot of real things that come from your experiences and my experiences that I hope
Mm,
a lot of listeners can also relate to.
mhm.
Um, but the name of your or the name of the episode, and I believe one of your clothing lines is called "Enjoy Yourself." So, like,
Yeah.
how do you enjoy yourself through all of this? Like, why'd you choose all this? Like, why'd you
Yeah,
choose that name? Like, I want to hear some positivity.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, it's really funny because like my like demeanor, like, yeah, and I'll say this, like, I am totally a I am a African American fashion designer. Yeah, still struggling with mental illness. I
Mm-hmm.
still you know, have anxiety about things. You know, I still get depressed about things because things are very depressing in this society we built for ourselves.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, I the way I choose to I guess present I guess I would say like present myself or the aspect or yeah, I'll say this, the aspect I choose to show or the side I choose to show of myself is the side stemming from my childhood, stemming from when I was truly happy. I didn't know how shitty the world was, how terrible people, you know, actually are, how, you know, everything's kind of just capitalism. And like, yeah, I was, you know, unaware of all that stuff. So, you know, I was just this happy little kid in his own creative, imaginative world
Yeah.
where I just, you know, created and it was beautiful. I loved it. It was colorful. Tons of, you know, just cartoons and just tons of color and like candy and, you know, this and that, you know what I mean? So it was just
Right.
like, yeah, I could definitely make a brand that's like, you know, death and, you know, destruction, this and that, you know what I mean? But yeah, I like, I don't want to do that. Like, like, and this sounds terrible, but I'd rather just keep that side, you know, you know, push down until I'm ready to, I guess, you know, handle all that stuff. But yeah, as far as like how I choose to like, like, you know, what side I choose to show of myself, yeah, I definitely, you know, would rather choose the happy side and like, yeah, just the side of like, and you know, I think that's just what, you know, we need in life is just color and happiness and fun. And not, you know, the side that we like, yeah, we know there's the bad side and like the, you know, racist side and all that stuff. But yeah, I choose to just focus on like the colors and like, you know, the fun and like the remembrance of like, you know, that time you were like really happy and you know this, you know what I mean? So I hope that, you know, when people see my stuff and they wear my stuff, you know, they remember, you know, something that was truly enjoyable in their life. And yeah, just the whole enjoy yourself thing is just like, yeah, you know, life really is terrible, like can be terrible. And it's all about perspective, but you know, I think personally, like when you just lay it down, like no, like life is terrible. You know, we have a just terrible, you know, political system, you know, educational system, you know, everything. But it's like, you know, still try to enjoy yourself,
Mhm.
however that is, whether you know that's working out or you know taking the dog for, you know what I mean, just whatever it is, just like try to enjoy yourself. Um, and also, you know, to speak on that, um, when I started this and when like prior to starting this, I was like had really bad anxiety and everything like that, and I wasn't enjoying myself like in any instance. Like um, I remember there was a fashion show I was a part of, and it was my first show doing, you know, first time doing this. And so yeah, you know, nerves. You
Yeah.
should expect nerves, but
For sure.
I didn't allow myself to, you know, overcome that. Um, which you know, not to be too hard on myself, it's hard to do that, but I didn't allow myself to do that, and I didn't enjoy myself. I didn't network. I didn't, you know, do this, that, and the third that you know would have been like, oh, you know, this is fun now. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I didn't, you know, enjoy myself and I let my fears and my anxieties, you know, get the best of me. So yeah, moving forward, I was like, yeah, like, you know, just enjoy yourself because like it's just like why not, you know?
For sure.
Like why not just try your hardest to not just like just you know let go of everything and just like enjoy yourself, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
because I'm a huge overthinker of things, like, and it's just like yo man, just enjoy yourself, like that was the whole like mindset of it when I was creating it, and when I thought of it was just like yeah, just very simply. And that was like something I've heard, you know, in culture a lot, you know, you kids enjoy yourself sort of things. It's like yeah man, just like have fun, enjoy yourself, you know, have fun in some bright colored stuff. So like
Right.
yeah,
and
that's oh
and
no.
eventually, like, we all kind of come to this crossroad where we have to make that choice for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of I've come across that crossroad many times in my life, and I've
Mm-hmm.
chosen not to enjoy myself. Like
Yeah.
plenty of times, I've chosen to continue to dwell and to think that things will work out, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm at, you know, without making a change because I'm
Mm-hmm.
living my life for other people's expectations.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel that eventually everyone gets to this really big intersection. You know, you had like the smaller intersections in the neighborhoods, but
Mm.
then you had the main road intersections where,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's a lot of traffic, like that type of intersection
Yeah.
where you ultimately have to make a choice. Well, am I really going to enjoy myself,
Yeah.
or am I going to continue to go down this road where I'm not exactly happy? And
Mm-hmm.
so, like with this podcast, you know, like I, I made a choice to stop doing it because I
Yeah.
thought that it would affect me like, I thought it would affect me going forward within my career in my life negatively. And then I thought to
Mm.
myself, once I made that choice and once I got myself into that situation, I said, well, was that worth it? You
Yeah.
know, like I had so many people listening to this show and telling me like, "Oh, this is awesome. Like you should keep on doing this. Like everything that your guests are saying, everything that you're saying is really inspiring. Like I love it."
Mm-hmm.
And for me to actually choose to stop doing it is to kind of stick up the middle finger to that crowd and say, "What you feel isn't as important as what I feel is going to happen to me." And there is validity in that statement, but when the
Yeah.
reason is stupid, then it's like, what the heck? That's why I brought back the show because
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy doing it. I genuinely enjoy having this conversation with you and many other
Yeah.
guests. And I enjoy when people are enlightened. I
Yeah.
really do like when people have knowledge and they feel inspired to go on and take on the world when they actually really do want to enjoy themselves. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm really glad that that's where everything is coming from with you. Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, yeah, you know, there are a lot of dark clouds outside. You know, we could be living in the shadows and be stuck in our heads and stuff like that, but we can continue to do that or we can enjoy ourselves. And like, that's really
Yeah.
deep. Like, it
Yeah.
sounds simple,
Yeah.
but it's deep.
Yeah, it's all about how you choose to like, yeah, look at it because yeah, I was really again just going back to like prior to me starting this, man, I was like really, really in a bad way. And yeah, it was like, okay, I can choose to continue to, be this person, always, being so hard on myself, just really, bad mindset, or yeah, I can really just, I mean, because it's like, yeah, what else are you gonna do, I guess, is like my point. Like,
Right.
are you gonna give up? And if you give up, like, you're young, like why give up, not like why give up just right now, you know what I mean? Like, why give up,
Mm.
like, give it a few years or something, you know what I mean? That's what I was telling myself, like, don't give up yet, like, because you're still so young. And I personally felt like I couldn't go out the way I almost did because yeah, I had so much potential, and like I knew deep down like I could achieve whatever it is I wanted to. It was
Mhm.
just like it was gonna take one hell of a journey to achieve that, and it was gonna be really, really hard, and there was gonna be a lot of, bumps in the road. But yeah, like I was really trying to like just build my life how I wanted, and live how I wanted, and then yeah, enjoy myself and enjoy my time, man. Because yeah, this whole thing is like also coming from like me maintaining my time throughout my life, because so much of our time goes to work, and I don't like that. I don't believe in that. I don't think that is what we are here for. Whether we're here for anything, it's
Right.
certainly not that. Certainly not to just put money in the pockets of already insanely
In somebody else's
greedy,
pockets
yeah, insanely greedy,
consistently.
individuals. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to maintain as much as my time as possible. And yeah, throughout that, I have been broke a lot of those times. Because yeah, I haven't, been making money just, strictly off of this. So it's like, but yeah, throughout that, it's like, hey, at least I had my time. At least I wasn't spending that, because I've had times where, I've had jobs where I've been making decent money, but it's like, yo, I'm, I feel terrible. I'm miserable. I don't want to do this.
Hmm.
And like, yeah, I just want my time, and like I just want to enjoy that. Which it's crazy because we live in the world where, yeah, man, like we're just conditioned to just work. It's
Yeah.
just like, and you know the cost of living is just getting higher and higher, and like jobs aren't getting any better. So yeah, we just have to work just to afford a glass of milk, and it's just yeah, it's really depressing to me to see that. And that's, I think, again, that's why I continue to do what I do, because yeah, I want to hopefully, like, help myself and then help others,
Mhm.
show others, hey, you can do this, you can go this route, and you can have a truly enjoyable life, because I don't think a lot of people are enjoying their lives, whether they're an accountant or they're a janitor, and not to
Right.
knock those people of those professions, but I think people want to do what they want to do with their time, and a lot of
Yeah.
us just we unfortunately can't do that, and that really really sucks.
Yeah. And I was watching a YouTube video. I forgot what YouTube video it was, but someone was saying that like this society likes to tell us, oh, we can do whatever we want, but we
Hmm.
can go to whatever job that we want, and there won't be any problems, right? You can do what you want,
That's
chase your dreams. But
Yeah,
at the same time, we we are
that's a
bound to
lie.
where the benefits are. We're
Yeah,
bound to, where job availability is at. Like all
yeah,
these different
yeah,
conditions that we have to, I guess you can say, bind ourselves to, and
yeah.
I feel like that's why a lot of people on our generation and the generation under us become content creators, whether it be,
Hmm.
a podcast or a clothing line, or an artist. I feel like
Yeah.
people recognize this structure that is clearly exploiting us.
Hmm.
And as a rebellion, we create content to expose that, whether it be
Yeah.
directly or indirectly. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
It is. It totally is. Yeah, because yeah, it yeah, I mean, it's yeah, because like we we don't dude, I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. What was your, like, what was your question? Like,
I
what
didn't
was
ask a
the
question. I just made a statement.
Okay, yeah, the statement of just like, yeah, yeah, we definitely are rebelling, because yeah, we see like that, yeah, we're not going to Ford anymore, you know what I mean, like because
Hmm.
I remember an older gentleman was telling me, like, they gave him a car, and they gave, like, great benefits, and great pay, like when he was working at Ford when he was our age. And it's like, well, okay, that's not how it's happening anymore. There's a shift, that there's been a shift in the culture of, like, of the workforce, like that job that paid whatever it did, that you were able to live off of, is like pennies now, so, like, yeah, we have chose to become, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing that we chose to become more independent, because yeah, we can just whip out our phone, make a video, and just and it's
Have
and
it
it's
go
weird.
viral.
Yeah, and then under that viral video we promote our it's such a beautiful thing that what we've created and what we can create for ourselves and our friends, just by making that video and making that content. It's a truly beautiful thing. And yeah,
Right.
I want to see more of that, and I want to see the people that are making those things get more recognition for that, because it always gets, like, swept up by these bigger places that never give them credit. And again, just going back to who's creating that, a lot of times it's people of color, and we don't get that recognition or any of that. But yeah, we are still, like, creating it, like, wholeheartedly, and it's beautiful, like like all the innovative shit, like, I see these young kids doing, and I'm just like, wow, like, I wouldn't even have fathomed you can do that on the phone, like,
Mhm.
it makes me feel old. I'm only, 24, but yeah, it's like it's a really beautiful thing, witnessing it and being a part of it. It's truly beautiful. Like how we're speaking on, this app that I had no idea about. Like, it's
Right.
it's such a beautiful thing, like, but in the same instance, like, I totally believe, like, as far as, like, tech goes, like, we need to, like, I don't know, be wary of what how we move forward, but that's totally another topic
For
for
sure.
like that's totally another topic for our tech podcast of the episode. But yeah,
Right.
I think it is a beautiful thing how we have chose to like make money and like how we like choose to live
Right.
and like yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man.
So, closing out the episode, that I ask every guest this question, and then, if they have any shout outs at the end. So if you want to give out your
Mm,
social media or you want to shout out any people that feel deserve recognition, you can do that. But here's a question.
mm,
So if you can say one last thing to the world before the episode's over, what
mm.
would that be?
Um, and I don't want to sound like I think the word I'm looking for is inclusive. Oh yeah, I don't want to sound inclusive, I believe is the word, but I just want to speak to um, all of my brothers and sisters out there uh, that I understand like sort of the mindsets that we're in, and I understand like the situations that we're kind of like forced to be a part of or that we're born into. Um, but yeah, like we're truly like the creators of so many things, and we're so powerful that yeah, if you have a dream, totally chase it because life is too short. Like our existence is pretty like in my opinion pretty small. So like don't spend it if you don't want to. Like don't spend it just mundanely working or just doing something you don't want to do because that just is stupid and you only have one life potentially to live. So yeah, use your time. Literally use your time how you want. And don't and try to not let anyone discourage you from how you use your time, especially if you're not making money with that time because it's not about making money, it's about doing what you love with this
Awesome.
life.
That's
So
really cool, man. So do you have any
so
shout outs or anything like that?
oh man, I have there's totally a bunch of people throughout my journey that I've met and that I would love to give a shout out to, but I would probably have to like go all through like my phone and like try to figure out every single person because I wouldn't want to leave everyone out. So
Right.
I'll just do a whole group hug, high five, dap of like all my people who know exactly who know who I'm talking about. Yeah, they know. Because I keep a pretty small circle, and yeah, they know exactly who they are and what they've done for me, and what they're continuing to do for me. So yeah, shouts out to all you guys. The journey is just starting. I can't wait to create more and more content with you guys. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Amazing. So, what about socials? Like, where can people find you? How can they engage with your brand? How can they buy some of your clothes?
Yeah. So I right now I have mainly I think like my main thing is IG, which is Malcolm Dakar, MALCOLMDAKAR, all one word. That's like the main way you can reach me. I have clothing up on my Depop right now. I took a step back from the whole website thing just until I can create my own website and create my own like real just like create a really dope like, site that like, people can go onto and have that really represent me well. But yeah, you can check me out on my IG. I'm always usually posting something that I made because I'm always just in my cave making something. And yeah, just check me out. You're always gonna find some color. You're always gonna find something fun, something you probably have never seen before. Hopefully, you never seen before. If you have, tell me, and yeah, I'll go like fight that person who made it or something. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Malcolm. It
yeah,
seriously,
thank you,
like,
man.
for me not speaking with you like for so long, like this was a lot for
Yeah,
me, and I hope a lot for the listeners. That
yeah,
I definitely took away a lot, and I'm glad that you shared all of your experience.
yeah, man. Thank you, man. I hope we can do this again and again, and it'll be in better situations each time. Like, hopefully, we are doing this like on a yacht next time, or flying over
I
Europe
think
or
the next
somewhere.
step is a studio,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like an actual studio.
that would be the next step. That probably would be the next realistic step would be a
Yes.
studio.
All right, cool. All right, listeners, you know where you can listen to us. Definitely engage with the YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook, Apple, Google Play, Podbean, Stitcher. I'm missing something. Spotify. Is that it? I don't know. You'll find it on the Facebook page. But yeah,
Find it.
don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow. Send me an email if you have any feedback, any questions. You can reach me at Carlos at race the number 2 thefinish.live, and I can answer anything that you have right there. So hopefully you can see you next week, and thanks for listening. All right, goodbye everyone.